imagine looking at a past due notice for your rent and feeling absolutely zero panic, like no heart palpitations or obsessive mental math trying to, move money around.
I mean, that sounds pretty impossible for most people.
Right. This state of mind isn't just possible. It's actually the required baseline for operating in what it calls heaven's economy.
Yeah, so we're analyzing an excerpt from the Rhapsody of Reality's daily devotional by Pastor Chris.
Exactly.
And the mission is really to explore this radical framework for completely eliminating financial anxiety. Because the text argues that, human beings are fundamentally just easily intimidated by numbers.
Oh, definitely.
Like, we look at inflation rates or our bank balances and we instantly fall into this anxious calculation instead of operating in faith.
Okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah.
Because the core premise starts by referencing Ecclesiastes 7.12, which basically suggests that God provides both wisdom and money as a defense. The underlying logic is that a life-transforming message or purpose is simply too important to be bottlenecked by financial constraints.
What's fascinating here is the specific alternative the author offers to all that anxious calculation.
Right. What do we do instead?
Well, the text actually instructs readers to become provision conscious, and it uses the psychology of children as the ultimate example.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. Because children generally don't stress over global supply chains, right?
Exactly. Or, household budgets. They just operate with this inherent consciousness that everything they need is simply available.
But wait, I need to stop you there. Because being provision conscious like a child sounds great in theory, but when a child is hungry, the parent still actually has to go buy the groceries.
That is a very fair point.
Like, does the text explain how refusing to stress about our bills actually gets them paid? Or is this purely just, like, an exercise in stress management?
It's a crucial question, yeah. The text isn't advocating for financial negligence at all. Rather, it's arguing for a deliberate cognitive pivot.
Okay.
By instructing readers to vehemently refuse thoughts of lack, the author is outlining a method to kind of short-circuit that panic response.
Got it. So you stop calculating from a place of fear.
Right. You align yourself with the mindset of inexhaustible supply. So you make decisions based on faith rather than panic.
So it's really about unlearning our adult habit of obsessively refreshing our banking apps.
Yeah.
And replacing it with that childlike trust that dinner's just going to be on the table.
Precisely.
So if we actually adopt this mindset, how does the text say that practically changes our relationship with our everyday 9-to-5 jobs?
Well, the text argues that we have to fundamentally redefine what a job actually is.
Okay, how so?
According to Pastor Chris, looking at your career as your ultimate source of security is a trap.
A trap?
Yeah, because if you do that, you automatically bind yourself to worldly economic cycles.
Which means you're deeply vulnerable to, like, corporate downsizing or market volatility.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Human evaluations, shifting markets, all of that.
Here's where it gets really interesting.
Yeah.
Because the text insists your job is just a platform to express your gifts, not your actual source.
Right.
So if I'm understanding this, it's kind of like plumbing.
Plumbing.
Yeah, like my job isn't the water supply itself. It's just the faucet.
Oh, I see where you're going with this.
Right. So if my company downsizes, the faucet breaks, which is incredibly stressful, obviously. But the text is arguing that the reservoir behind it, this economy of heaven, is totally untouched. Am I getting that right?
That is the exact mechanism the author is describing, yes. The distinction between a channel and an origin is the absolute crux of the argument.
The faucet versus the reservoir.
Exactly. You are operating under a framework that functions by faith, not by the limitations of an earthly corporate ladder. The water, the origin of your resources, is still there. You just need a new channel for it to flow through.
So what does this all mean?
Well, the author uses a really specific phrase here, inviting people to live above the thraldom of economic meltdowns.
Thraldom. That essentially means enslavement or bondage.
Right. So the text is saying we do not have to be enslaved to the panic of a recession.
We could just be floating in the grace of abundance instead.
Yes. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, it is a fascinating philosophical stance on human worth.
How so?
The text is asserting that your true value and your ultimate security are completely divorced from any earthly financial system. You aren't defined by your salary or a volatile market cycle.
Which really leaves you with something highly practical to consider.
Definitely.
If you completely internalize this concept, that your job was just a temporary channel, a faucet, and not your ultimate source of survival,
Right.
how would that fundamentally change the way you handle your biggest stressor at work tomorrow?
We trust you were blessed by this episode. To gain unlimited access to Rhapsody of Realities by Pastor Chris, please download the Rhapsody app using the link myapp.rhapsodyofrealities.org. God bless you.